people, hood niggas be good niggas, okay? Like, don't overlook the niggas in the hood. Some of them have very good qualities that you would be surprised about. So let me just go to the hood nigga, because the hood nigga already gonna go above and beyond when he comes to a girl like me. He's gonna appreciate what I bring to the table versus a good guy.
Yo, what did she say? Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Ruling Class Podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Didi, back up in this with another video, man. And I got my same two goals. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of October. And I'm trying to drink some of this water. And you can help me out by liking this video, subscribing, sharing this video, and commenting on this video. But don't worry, I'm going to give you a sec to do that. All right, let's get into the video.
Today we are talking about why good guys finish last. I'm Shamika Sanders. Beside me, I have the beautiful Jessie Woo and the fabulous Africa Miranda. Guys, in a recent interview, Sir Slim Thug asserted that Ciara was not happy in her relationship with Russell Wilson because he is a good guy. To use his word, he is a square. Let's get into this quote right here. He wrote this, y'all. This is me.
This is his version.
End with quotes.
Version. Do a woman used to talk to Future really want a Russell Wilson? He's just a corny dude. He's just like a square. Okay, before we get into this question of the week, what do you define as a good guy? What does that mean?
I've found, to be very honest, my definition of a good guy has changed over the years. A good guy for me used to mean that he had money, that he had a certain social standing, but I found that didn't mean that they were really good people. So now for me, a good guy is someone that is kind, that's a hard worker, that doesn't have serious problems with honesty, and that actually is a little square.
So what? So it's interesting to me. She looks like she may be the oldest person on the panel. Looks like she may be in her 40s. And it's interesting that women get to the 40s, always get around that age before they start to think with more logic, right? When they have far less options, they're not as attractive, right? And they've spent all those years, their young days, messing off with all the guys that were no good for them. Now all of a sudden they can think now with more logic. There's an old saying: never listen to what a woman tells you she wants. Always pay attention to a woman's actions. Pay attention to who a woman gives her time to. Pay attention to who a woman gives her womb to. Women don't know. It's like asking a woman where she want to go to eat. You're going to be sitting there all night. Women don't know what they want. If it was up to women, modern women want a 6'3" gangbanger with 5 felonies, but also with a PhD in the middle of the operating room, get a phone call from her to come to the middle of the hood, leave surgery to come to the middle of the hood, shoot a man in the face who decided to ask her out as she walked through the grocery store half naked with 3 kids that aren't even yours. That's what women want. We're so backwards.
Oh.
I feel like for me, those qualities now, you can find them anywhere, not just in the church or in school, because I used to associate the good guy with the guy who's in church, the guy who's in the library all the time. But now I feel like you can find you a good guy in the street. You know what I'm saying? Some of these street dudes, they be good guys. They'll take care of you. They'll care about you. They'll motivate you. They'll support you.
What?
So for me, it's just, sometimes the popular definition of a good guy is not my definition of a good guy.
All of this leads us to the question of the week. Why do we pick good guys last? Okay, ladies, so why don't we just pick the good guy first? Doesn't it seem so simple?
Yeah.
Who said we don't, though? Because a lot of times you'll pick a good guy, but does the good guy want you? A lot of these good guys, they want the hoe, they want the scammer. The same way we like excitement, they like adventure too.
Lies. She's being very disingenuous here. First of all, 90% of women want 10% of men. Men don't want the woman who's most likely going to sleep with the mailman. But women will choose men who's most likely going to sleep with her best friend. That's just how it goes. Men and women are not the same when it comes to stuff like this. And the way we think when it comes to this, we're just different. We're so backwards in the so-called black community. Stability equals lame. Trustworthy equals boring in the so-called black community. And then you get results like this.
I see that a lot of times with the good guys, you know what I mean? So a lot of us, we pick the good guys, but does the good guy want the good girl?
So we're canceling each other out.
Exactly.
I feel like, though, most of us don't, and not even say most, but I feel like some people, and I can definitely put myself in this category because I've been super guilty of it, didn't pick good guys or good men, like, because like we're normalizing trauma. Like we think that to be in love is like exciting and it should be danger, and it's like we think that all of these things are normal. When you meet a nice guy where it's just like it's easy, it's like, oh well, I don't trust it because I don't know what that is. Like so much of black love is about struggle. Like why does our love have to be struggled for it to be like this is what it's supposed to be exciting and feel good?
But
it doesn't have to be struggle. You're choosing for it to be struggle, right? It's always interesting to me when I hear things like that. It's like, oh, because my relationship with my dad was so bad. I'm not saying that it's easy to figure it out, but I'm just saying, why isn't it that there's more women who can make the discernment of, okay, this is what my mom went through with my dad. These were the consequences. I witnessed my mom go through therapy. I witnessed my mom go through divorce. I witnessed my mom even get beat on. I don't want to go through that. So therefore, I'm going to pick someone who's not like that person. Instead, that's not the mindset. The mindset is, no. She had a kid by that man. That's all that matters. That means that this is a great man. So let me do the same thing my mom did. That's where I'm confused.
You said something really good about trauma speaking to trauma.
It can. Like for some of us, and myself included, my first relationships, like my father, there was damage there. So that informed a lot of my choices in men, and I think many of us do that. So that's why we want, or we respond to like the negativity or the bad guy.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is that we are attracted to this badness, and we have now associated the bad guy with fun.
Yep.
And we are overlooking the good guy. Okay, so now let's...
I have a problem. I'm going to stop pausing it. I really am. But I even have a problem with just how so casually is being talked about. I understand that this is, a platform for a healthy conversation. But if I'm a woman and I'm not a woman, if I'm a human and I'm having this conversation about something that's lacking in my culture or my society or in my community, I will be outraged right now. Y'all just so casually talked about how you're, continuing a cycle of dysfunction. You're continuing a cycle of toxicity. And you're just casually talking about it like, it's just the way it is. That's why we are, but we don't want to change it or nothing. It's just how it is. Like, why isn't there more outrage here? Why isn't there somebody trying to figure out the solutions?
Let's see what the social media streets are saying. Ethereal Kia says, imagine how much more pleasant our communities would be if our women weren't stressed out trying to play both parental roles. Imagine how much happier and peaceful our homes would be if our women could focus on cultivating them from the inside. I hear praise is around.
Hello. Hallelujah.
I agree.
Praise the Lord. That's the word right there.
That's the word right there. I 100% agree with it. I do not support any man who decides to put his seed in many different places. I do not support any man who decides to just sleep around and have kids and not stay in those children's lives. But this is hypocritical. You just talked about how there are good street guys. A lot of times, not all street guys are alike, but a lot of street guys, that comes with it. They don't stick around to help take care of their kids. Again, not all of them, but that happens a lot, especially with the lifestyle that they're living. But now you're talking about that's a word. That don't make sense. You're contradicting yourself.
Imagine.
Someone responded and said it would solve most of the dysfunctions in the black community, which is what you were talking about, the trauma.
We have to heal because we have to take responsibility for the men that we're choosing. But then the men, same way. It's like we're not here to fix them. They're not here to fix us. You have to fix yourself.
And you know what? Another part of that trauma is like for me, when it comes to me and I'm going and I'm dating these guys, they want to mistreat me. But then when they go to other girls of other cultures, they going above and beyond. And it's like, okay. So let me just go to the hood nigga, because the hood nigga already gonna go above and beyond when he comes to a girl like me, because he's gonna appreciate what I bring to the table versus a good guy who knows he has all these options. He's gonna take me for granted. So I'll just go to the hood nigga who gonna, take me on the adventure I deserve.
You said something really good there, though.
I just really felt like I lost brain cells. I'm not even joking. What did she just say? Let me go to the hood dude, because the guys who are not hood dudes and the guys who are probably good for me, they think that they're too much. They think they're God's gift to earth. So let me go to the hood dude who's going to just slobber all over me. No, that's not the reason you go to the hood dude. You're being disingenuous once again. And then the woman sitting there in the pink just agree with it. Women have this thing when they get together. I've been noticing this since high school. Women have this thing when they get together. It's like they want to see what the other women think so they can agree with them and they can all be on the same accord. It's called groupthink, and it's really annoying. No, I don't know if the woman in the pink really agrees with what the woman in the yellow just said, but that was buffoonery. That was toxicity, and that was very toxic advice, and that made no sense whatsoever. That doesn't help the community. That doesn't help women.
Because the good men out there, they think that God's gift to women, so now they treating everybody.
But I don't want to put it on, like, there are some good guys who will take you on wonderful adventures and you won't be crying at the end of it. Like, I think that's like the problem, is that there are good guys that might be a little corny, but they're fun, they're kind. And like, I do feel Sierra did for Russell. She gave him a little swag. Like, he's not wearing the Hawaiian shirts anymore.
Jesse, what do the receipts say?
Well, the first question we asked our readers was, the first thought that comes to mind when you think good guy is, 51% said husband, 41% said friend, 7% said boring, and 1% said sucker.
Damn, who put
Why-
sucker
right,
up there?
But that's the problem.
That's the but only 1% said sucker now, so that's growth. You know what that is? That's growth right there. But notice how 51% said husband, which goes back to what I was saying earlier.
Modern women, when modern women say that they found a husband, what they really mean is, I finally found a man that I could convince to forget about my past and the past 15, 20 years of bad decisions that I've made and these 3 kids I got by some other man, and they're going to accept me for who I am today.
All of us want to settle down. Most of us want to settle down anyway. So even if it is like the boring good guy, like you're still thinking, okay, husband at the end of the day.
I feel like, though, we got to change the conversation. Why does it mean that, like, in the end, like, after I've lived and had all my fun, I'm going to settle down with this corny man? Why can't it be, oh, we want, this good man who's great and fun and nice that treats me well, and like, that's a new experience. It doesn't have to be something that we wait for after we've been drugged through the mud.
True.
And then we,
That's always our experience, though, that I feel.
That's what I feel like you have
why
to
it gotta
go.
be our experience.
I'll tell you why it's your experience. Because in the so-called black community, stability equals lame. Trustworthy equals boring. And you just sat there and pretended like you agree with her. Like, no, you're right. No, it's not a coincidence that the woman in the orange is speaking with the most logic, because she's the oldest. Now she's in a stage where she's not pursued as much, and all of a sudden she can think with more logic. But this woman here, she hasn't reached that age. She hasn't reached that stage in her life. So she's still in that phase where she want to mess with these different guys who are no good for her and experiment and learn for herself.
I feel like you have to go through this life, and sometimes you experience this trauma to know that there is something else out there.
Last question was, which statement do you agree with the most? 81% said good guy or bad boy, men are men. 18% said good guys make better husbands but are no fun and likely whack in bed. I think you would agree with that. That's you right there. And 1% said good guys are weak and bad boys are strong.
I think bad boys are damaged.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
First, can we add another option?
They're damaged, but that's
I
the
think
type of
bad boys
man
are
you
probably
want.
damaged, and therefore they damage other women.
Exactly. Look at Future.
Yeah. So let's get into the conversation and look at this article written by Teresa DiDonato for Psychology Today. She states, there has been a long-standing assumption that women who view men as nice guys are viewed as intelligent but less assertive, less sexually experienced, and less attractive. Do you agree, though? Is that how you felt before? Intelligent but less assertive, less sexually experienced, and less attractive? I didn't think less attractive.
No, because listen, some of them good guys, they'll surprise you now. They'll pull out that anaconda real quick, okay?
Because a man has a huge penis, that doesn't mean that he's great in bed. Just because a man is quick to pull out his penis does not mean he's great in bed. So however she meant that, when women like this talk, I'm just going to say it. I want to ask them, what's your highest level of education? Not that women in higher education don't make these silly mistakes or these silly decisions as well. I want to know, what's your IQ? Because you're not the brightest bulb talking like that.
So I don't feel like we should generalize that.
You've been generalizing the whole interview.
Then again, it's been a lot of people's experience that, the good guy is kind of whack and whatever, but that's not always the case.
So after all of that good talk and honest answers, ladies, what's our takeaways? What did we learn from this conversation?
My takeaway is simple. Hood niggas be good niggas, okay? Like, don't overlook the niggas in the hood. Some of them have very good qualities that you would be surprised about. So.
In other words, first of all, that's not a takeaway from the conversation. That was never a part of the conversation. That's something that those are your talking points. That's not what you took away from it. That's just what you stayed with. You stuck there. You didn't change. You didn't evolve. You didn't grow. Second of all, when she says they have good qualities about them, in other words, she means street dudes are also human, which means they smile sometimes. They might buy you some things sometimes. Okay, they like hugs. They're human. They're affectionate as well. Duh. Men aren't robots. What does that even mean? That's what she means by that. That's crazy.
That's my takeaway.
My takeaway is expand your idea of what good guys are. They can be kind. Like, it's not corny to be kind. It's not corny to be nice. It's not corny to be romantic. It's not corny for someone to publicly gush over you on social media. Corny is cool.
Yes.
Oh, that was corny.
I still liked it.
Yeah, you still liked it. But you know what's crazy about that? The woman in the yellow is not going to take the advice from the woman in the orange. You know why? Because she's not at that age and she's still in that phase where she want to trick off and do what she want to do. And she's going to learn the hard way. And then when she's 45, 50, now she's going to look down at 25, 30-year-olds and tell them what she learned when she got in her 40s. It's a cycle. Men, here's my advice. Always remember this. Why do good guys finish last? It's not last if you're at peace. Until next time. Peace.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.